Hi everyone, in this lesson we're having a look at linear equations. So these are equations where the highest power of x is 1, and these are the ones that you're going to be doing a lot of in your high school experiences. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Let's say that we have 3x plus 2 equals, what can that equal? That can equal 11. Okay, so the idea with solving the equation is doing the opposite to both sides. So it's very important. I'll just say that again. We need to do the opposite and do it to both sides. And we need to do the opposite to get x by itself, or the letter by itself. So let's have a look at the stuff that's happening to x. What is happening to x here? Okay, well, we have a times 3 happening to x and a plus 2 happening to x. So the opposite of a plus 2 is a minus 2. So I will minus 2 from both sides. Okay, and if I do that, my next line will say 3x equals 9, because the plus 2 and the minus 2 cancelled out. We did the opposite and they cancelled each other out. And we no longer have 11 over on the right-hand side. We minus 2, so now we have 9. Okay, so that's the first step done. And now we have a 3 times x, 3 lots of x, equals 9. The opposite of a times by 3, the opposite of this times by 3 is divide by 3. So let's divide both sides by 3. Divide by 3. And if we do that, we'll get x equals 9 divided by 3 gives 3. So these will cancel out. We do the opposite and it cancels each other out. We end up with x equals 3. And if you want to put x equals 3 up here, you'll see that it works. 3 times 3 plus 2 does equal 11. So that's right, we got the right answer because it worked. Okay, do a couple more. So the main thing to keep in mind is that we need to do the opposite to both sides. So let's have a look at another one. Let's say that we have x plus 5 on 2 can equal 10. Okay, so we have a look at the stuff that's happening to x, and we need to do the opposite to get the x by itself. So here, this is a divided by 2. It's an on top of 2, divided by 2. The opposite of a divide by 2, we will multiply both sides by 2. If we do that, then this will cancel out. We did the opposite, so it cancelled out. And we'll get x plus 5 equals 20. It's no longer 10, we just times it by 2. Now, how do we get rid of a plus 5? What's the opposite of that? It will be a subtract 5. So we'll subtract 5 from both sides, and we will get x equals 15. And if you put 15 up here, you'll see that it works. So we need to do the opposite to both sides. Okay, and just one thing of note is that you couldn't have started with a minus 5, because this isn't really the number 5. It lives in the fraction. So that's actually technically the number 5 on 2. So that's why we started with the multiply by 2 to get rid of the denominator, because this 5 was kind of all tied up in the fraction. So we dealt with that after the fraction. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Let's say that we have 10x minus 7 equals, say, 23. Okay, so we need to get rid of a minus 7, and what's the opposite of a minus 7? We will plus 7 to both sides. If we do that, we'll get 10x, say cancel out, 10x equals 30. The opposite of a times by 10 is a divide by 10. And if we divide 30 by 10, we will get x equals 3 as our answer. So that's a look at how we go about solving linear equations. You need to do the opposite to both sides to get x by itself or y by itself, whatever your letter happens to be. Yeah, so as long as you're thinking, I need to do the opposite to both sides, you're probably going to do pretty well with these questions.